This somehow felt right to film in a kitchen with a shirt. You read the title, so I'm just gonna dive into things. I'm here to answer 3 very simple questions. What's a world-class restaurant? What's the experience like? And is it worth it? Let's get down to the most important fact. What is a Michelin-starred restaurant? The ultimate hallmark of culinary excellence. Every year, restaurants with very high standards can be awarded 1, 2, or 3 stars. How this even started? Let's go back in time. Clermont-Ferrand, France, 1889. When brothers André and Edouard Michelin founded a tire company at a time when there were fewer than 3,000 cars in the country. To grow the company, they needed to sell more tires, more cars were needed. So in 1900, the brothers produced a free guide with useful information for travelers, such as maps, how to change a tire, where to fill up on petrol, and a list of places to eat or sleep for the night. But one day, André Michelin said a man only truly respects what he pays for. So a brand new Michelin guide was launched in 1920 and sold for 7 francs. This was a huge success, and the Michelin guide started to grow influence specifically on the restaurant section. So they had a team of mystery diners, inspectors to visit and review restaurants anonymously. The star system was first introduced in 1926 with a single star denoting a very good restaurant. 5 years later, the second and third stars were added. The popularity of the Michelin Guide started to spread overseas, and major cities around the world started to be included. The Michelin Guide became a bestseller. They became the industry standard. They became the most respectable fine dining award in the world. There's many restaurants with 1 and 2 Michelin stars in the UK, but only 7 restaurants that have 3 Michelin stars, and 5 of those restaurants are in London. I wanted to do an experiment, so I made a reservation in all those restaurants in London in different periods of the last 14 months. It took me a bit longer than expected, as we have few lockdowns in the UK due to the pandemic. Instead of going one by one, I'll tell you the story, what you can expect, and it's very similar in the 5 restaurants. First of all, it might take a long time to find availability, and during the pandemic even more. 2 months is more or less standard in these restaurants if you're going to go for dinner. If you're going to go for lunch, you might be able to find something much quicker, like within a month. For example, to get that table in Gordon Ramsay, it took me up to 6 months, just because there was a lockdown and my reservation was cancelled twice. Okay, once we have the reservation, somebody from the restaurant will call you to confirm the number of people, what time are you actually coming, if you have any food allergies and so on. Perfect. That's how it works. The day comes, so we try to dress up for the occasion. Like this. We go to the restaurant, and obviously it's not a conventional entrance. Somebody opens the doorway for us to enter. They offer us to leave our jackets and they take us to the table. So fancy, so nice, so clean. There's like 6 waiters. Everyone's super nice, saying hello, welcome, and I'm wearing my backpack. Just because I want to film a vlog or something like that. And it's super weird because these restaurants are very elegant, people are quiet, respectful. So I decided to use my iPhone instead of my massive camera for the rest of the night. Okay, we're about to sit, but they push in our seat for us, and I start to feel a bit uncomfortable. Just because even when coming back from the toilet, they were pushing in the seat for me. So I quickly began to understand why an experience like this could cost as much money as it does. In the moment you sit, the sommelier comes with a trolley full of bottles, asking you if you want a glass of wine or champagne. The glass of sparkling wine is typically included, but if you want any other drink, you will need to pay extra. Christina and I went for the tasting menu, and I think this is the best if you want to do a good experience, because you get a bunch of little dishes to taste, and if you're gonna go the extra mile, you can get the wine pairing. The tasting menu has typically 7 courses, but before any of this takes place, the first thing coming to the table, the bread selection with some olive oil, butter, and then the amuse-bouche, which is some sort of free appetizers as well. Everything is included, so you don't need to pay extra. And then the waiters are around all the time, behind you, in front of you, and beside you. They'll ask if everything is okay, fill your glass, show your way to the bathroom, replace your napkin before you come back. They will also clean the crumbs from the table at the end of every course, and replacing your fork and knife as well. So the first courses start to come. They describe the dishes with some fancy words such as de bread, spring parfum, and not always mentioning all ingredients. So I think it's important to always ask what we're actually eating. And the same for wines, we're not all born sommelier. If we go for a bottle instead of the pairing, obviously the sommelier is not going to recommend the cheapest bottle in the menu. So it's important to go for whatever we feel comfortable and fits our budget. The people working in the restaurant are really taking care of the whole experience. So our job is really just to focus on the food and the flavors. Of course, we need to talk about food. It's delicious food. It feels like eating a masterpiece, like art, really. There's a lot of amazing food in the world and also cheaper. But this is not about having the most delicious food in your life. I go back to my previous point. You go for the experience, and this is what the dishes felt. They felt like concepts. You're tasting flavors and combinations that you never tried before. I really couldn't believe that certain combinations were even possible. Before the true dessert, there's always a pre-dessert, then some petit four and coffee. That's also complimentary and you don't pay extra for this. Some of these restaurants, they also give you like a very nice little gift box with a chocolate or with a cannelé so you can take home as well. I heard of people complaining that they leave these restaurants hungry. That was not my experience at all. For me, it was actually the opposite. I was struggling to finish the courses. There was a lot of food. 7 courses, bread selection, appetizers, pre-dessert, petit four, coffee, a bottle of wine. In every restaurant we were staying anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. So I can promise you, it's impossible to leave these restaurants hungry. Okay, let's talk about money. The cost is definitely high. At least £150 to £200 for the tasting menu. Then a bottle of wine, the very minimum is £100. Probably another £15-20 in water. And then 12 to 15% service charge or tips, and you end up paying around £300 or $400 per person. This is probably conservative because if you want to have champagne or more bottles of wine, or even the wine pairing, you'll add a couple of hundreds extra. I know a lot of people get upset by the idea of spending this money for a single meal, but I guess it's very similar to the concept like going to a festival, a concert, or a unique experience, right? If you think about what you're getting for this amount of money, I never felt I was cheated or it wasn't worth it. Personally, I've never spent this amount of money on a single meal before. I went to multiple trips for less money than this. I actually have another video about some lessons from my 10 years of traveling, where you can actually see that I lived in hostels or I sleep on the street from time to time to save money. I just didn't have anything. But I truly think that travel opens your eyes and food can connect people. In these restaurants, you don't go for the food, you go for the experience, you go for the story, and you go for the memories. And I'm gonna remember this for a very long time. This is not something that I see myself doing all the time, but I really wanted to do this experience and share it with you. Alright guys, that's all from me. So if you like this video, please feel free to press like so YouTube can recommend it to more people like you. And if you want to make my day, please feel free to subscribe below. So thank you so much for watching and see you next week.
What do I believe? What makes me feel it? To